pressing challenge in our country at the moment is lack of jobs or job opportunities for the youth. This has been exacerbated by the multiple shocks that have hit our economy. And in order to empower the youth and support businesses owned by the youth and women, I have proposed Kenya shillings 89.5 billion for these initiatives. This allocation includes 10.4 billion for the National Youth Service, 1.1 billion for the Kenya Youth Empowerment Program, 200 million for the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, 162.5 billion for the Center for Entrepreneurship, 230 million for the establishment of youth empowerment centers, 2.7 million to National Youth Opportunity towards Advancement, NYOTA. In addition, I have proposed Kenya shillings 649.8 million to strengthen the film industry in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the government is committed to ensuring increased income for our women through employment creation and supporting women-led enterprises. And to further empower our women, I have proposed Kenya shillings 182.8 million for the Women Enterprise Fund, Kenya shillings 3.5 billion for the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. Mr. Speaker, to promote regional equity, reduce poverty, and enhance social development, I have proposed Kenya shillings 63 billion for the National Government Constituency Development Fund, as well as Kenya shillings 8 billion for the Equalization Fund to finance programs identified in marginal areas. Let me turn now to stimulating tourism, growth, sports, culture, and recreation and arts. Mr. Speaker, the government has prioritized expanding the space for creativity, including freedom of expression and protection of intellectual property rights. The government will also strengthen mainstreaming of arts and culture, infrastructure and support cultural production, and as well as creative economy. We are also cognizant of the brand value of Kenyans participating and excelling in international sports arena as incalculable. To support tourism, sports, culture, and even recreation, I have proposed an allocation of 23.7 billion, and this includes an allocation of 16.5 billion for the Sports, Arts, Social Development Fund, Kenya shillings 4.9 billion for the Tourism Fund, and Kenya shillings 2.2 billion for the Tourism Promotion Fund. Let me turn to environment protection, water and natural resources. Mr. Speaker, in order to support environment and water conservation and respond to climate change, I have proposed an allocation of Kenya shillings 10.7 billion for forest resources conservation and management, 1.7 billion for forest research and development, 2.7 billion for environment management and protection, 5.9 billion for the Kenya Financing Locally Led Climate Action Project, 1.6 billion for meteorological services, and Kenya shillings 13.1 billion for wildlife security, conservation, and management. In addition, Mr. Speaker, I have proposed Kenya shillings 1 billion for wildlife research and development, Kenya shillings 1.2 billion for human-wildlife conflict compensation, and Kenya shillings 800 million for wildlife insurance. Mr. Speaker, to expand and access clean and adequate water for domestic and agricultural use, I have proposed an allocation of Kenya shillings 36.6 billion for the water and sewerage infrastructure development, 12.5 billion for water resources management, and Kenya shillings 1.9 billion for water storage and flood control. In addition, I have proposed 17.8 billion for irrigation and land reclamation, Kenya shillings 1.9 billion for water harvesting and storage for irrigation. I now turn to improving governance and sustaining the fight against corruption. To enhance good governance and Mr. Speaker, and scale up fight against corruption, I have proposed Kenya shillings 4.2 billion for the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, 4 billion for the Office of Director of Public Prosecution, 6.9 billion for the State Law Office, 8.7 billion for the Office of the Auditor General. In addition, Mr. Speaker, to enhance the oversight and registration of the role of Parliament, I propose an allocation of Kenya shillings 44.6 billion for Parliament. To enable administration and justice, I propose an allocation of 24.7 billion for the judiciary. This includes 900 million for construction and refurbishment of courts and 800 million for the automation of the judiciary. Allocations to the county governments, Mr. Speaker, I turn to this. The county governments